afternoon. Welcome to the Pre-Health Professions program at SFA. My name is Dr. Kevin Langford. I am an associate professor in our biology department and also the director of our Pre-Health Professions program. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We've already had a few questions to start with, and hopefully we can alleviate any confusion that we may have about what your major is versus what your career goals may in fact be. You come to college, there are two goals that you have in mind, not the least of which is graduating with a degree. Now, you're also focused on a future career. So you're going to be taking courses that will earn you a bachelor's degree. You will also be taking courses that are going to be prerequisites to your health professions program. Now, many of you may have thought that you were a pre-med major. I hear that a lot. There's no such thing as a pre-med major on this campus or in Texas or in the United States. You're going to get an academic degree in some area. And that academic degree can be in any degree we offer on this campus. There are very few exceptions. Unfortunately, nursing is one of those exceptions. Their courses go in one direction and the pre-health courses go in a different direction. We always advise students to make your major career plan B. If you don't get into medical school, what is your backup career plan? Now, I know that's difficult to think about because so many pre-health profession students are so focused on, I'm going to become a dentist, I'm going to become a pharmacist. Now, we're not going to plan to fail. We're not going to plan not to become a physical therapist. We're not planning to not become a doctor. But I look at this kind of like car insurance. Most of you have car insurance, right? But do you have the car insurance because you plan on having an accident? No. You pay all of this money for something that you never plan to use. So why do you have it? Just in case. So you're working toward a degree for 4 years to apply to a professional school that's very competitive. In fact, for every seat in a professional class, 3 other people want it. So more people that apply are not going to get in. And so their plan B is going to become their plan A. So think about that alternate career. Because a college education is far too difficult to earn, not to be used. Now here's the good news. You are a college student now, which means you are going to have more fun than you've ever had in your entire life. And unfortunately, it's going to be the most fun you're ever going to have, ever. Because as soon as you get out of college, things creep into your life that I call fun suckers. Mortgages. We mentioned insurance already, right? Jobs. And the biggest fun sucker of all, parents, children. So you're going to have a lot of fun. But you, unlike a lot of students on a college campus, you're going to be doing a lot of this. Because every grade you make in every class you take will have an impact on whether you're successful getting into that seat in medical school or not. Now, a lot of students on campus, they just have to have their 2.0000001 GPA to get their degree. Future employer says, do you have a college degree? They say, yeah, just barely, but they got it, and they'll get a great job. But pre-health students, every class you take, in fact, every test you take will have an impact on whether you get into your professional program or not. So when I look across a college campus, especially now that my son is in the military, I think of college students much like people in the military. Most of the students on a college campus are like these midshipmen in the Navy. But you, my pre-health profession students, you are set apart. More is expected of you than just the average student. So you are not like these individuals. You are these individuals. These are your Navy SEALs. Have you seen what they have to do, especially in their last week of training? They call it Hell Week. They don't let them sleep. They don't let them eat. They keep them in the freezing cold surf. And all they have to do is go ring a bell and they can go get a warm bed, a hot cup of coffee, and a Big Mac and be done with basically what's torture. Why do these individuals subject themselves to torture for that amount of time? Why do they do that? I think they want to be Navy SEALs more than anything. More than their discomfort, more than their exhaustion, more than their hunger, because they know temporary sacrifice is going to result in a lifetime of being called a Navy SEAL. You see where I'm going with this? There are going to be a lot of times you're not going to want to study. You're going to want to go party with a lot of the other students. But if you want to be a doctor for the rest of your life, some temporary sacrifice is going to have to happen. Why? Because there are 3 other people that are. How badly do you want that seat? And really, that's what we're here to talk about today. How badly do you want that seat, and what does it take to earn that seat in a medical school class? And so you have 5 full-time jobs, pre-health students. And as we embark on this road, if anyone is surprised that you must have good grades to get into a health profession program, we need to have a conversation, because you're already way behind. You've got to have good grades. You've got to be the best of the best. And in college, the highest GPA, grade point average you can have, is a 4.0. I know in high school you had GT classes, maybe 5 grade points, 6 grade points. Your valedictorians are graduated with 120%. 4.0 is it. And when you look at those that are going into medical school, let's say, this is what our chart is right here, you will see that those individuals that have a 3.8 or higher GPA, and that's summa cum laude, that's graduating with the highest honors in a college. Those individuals are only getting accepted at a 60% rate. What does that tell you? Good grades, you got to have them, but good grades alone will not get you into your health professions program. So, how do we make the grades? We do a lot of this. After we do a lot of this, what do? More. And when you finish with that, what do? You do even more. It's so important that you have that grade. We have a requirement for the pre-health professions program such that if your GPA falls below a 3.0, you cannot schedule an appointment in our office. Because we don't need to have a conversation about your prerequisites for medical school. You need to go to your major advisor, because your career plan B is now plan A. Because a 3.0 will not get you into medical school. I don't care who you know, I don't care who your parents are, it's not going to get you in. So that's your message about grades. You got to have it, because 3 other people are doing it. Now, many of you are also going to have an admission test looming in your future. Medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, optometry. You have the MCAT, DAT, and these things are beasts. The MCAT takes 8 hours to take this test. And you're going to be taking these admissions tests between your junior and senior year, so many of you may have just lost a year of preparation. And you're going to begin studying for this MCAT exam right now. You can't wait to the very end. And in fact, when we look at the MCAT score, the scale is built in such a way that 500 is the middle of the range. They thought, oh, this is going to be the average score. Now, if you're 500, guess what? You're in the bottom quarter. If you want to get into medical school, you need to be up here in this 510, 513 range, well above that middle score. But even if you do that, guess what? We're still about that 60%. But hey, guess what happens when you put it with your grades? The highest GPA and a really high MCAT, now we're at 76%. We're starting to talk and feel really good. But notice the highest GPA and the highest MCAT, still not 100%, because there's more work to do. That means you start studying now. You can buy these topical test prep books like MCAT prep for medicine, DAT prep for dentistry. And as you're studying in your classes, your biology, your chemistry, your physics, use these books to help you make better grades in your class. But as you do this over the next several years, you are going to become more and more familiar with the format of these exams. So you're basically preparing for these exams for the next 3 years. Why are you doing that? 3 other people are doing it. How badly do you want that seat? Now, for our third job, this gets at a question that you're all going to be asked when you get to your health profession interview. The question is, why do you want to be a doctor? Why do you want to be a dentist, a pharmacist? So if we surveyed 100 people and said, what is the #1 response in an interview for the question, I want to be a doctor because what do you think the #1 answer is? I want to help people. That is the #1 answer. And so, in light of that, there's no surprise that on your application, there is an entire section to list your service activities that you've been a part of since you started college. Because if you want to be a health professional, you like helping people. It's easy to say. It's hard to do, especially when you're busy making the grades, studying for your test. But I can promise you, if you don't have service listed, you will not get an interview. Now listen and listen very carefully. If you have that great GPA and that great MCAT, but you don't have service, you will not even get an interview. I'm not just trying to scare you. I had a former student scored in the 99th percentile on his MCAT. Only 1% of the people that took it scored better than him. He had a 3.9 plus GPA. He comes to me and he's not getting interviews and he's confused as to why. I say, let me look at your application. Where's your service? I got busy and I didn't put it in. So the next year he reapplied, included his service. He interviewed all over the nation and he is finishing his MD program at Baylor College of Medicine. All he did was include his service. The next question I would ask in an interview if I was the interviewer and an applicant said, oh, I love helping people, I would say, great. A policeman, they help people. A fireman, they help people. My garbage man helps me. I love my garbage man. I don't have to go to the dump every day. So just because you like helping people, why did you pick medicine? What do you really know about being a health professional? Well, your 4th full-time job is basically keeping a track record of shadowing. We also call this gaining professional experience. It's important for you to investigate this career that you want to dedicate your life to. It's expected from a mature, wise individual that you're going to look into this, not just from the perspective of a patient, but from the perspective of a professional. And in fact, you are so fortunate that you are here at SFA. Not for anything that I would do, but because of Miss Anita Beavers here. She is the administrative assistant for the program, so you understand that means she runs the program. I just sign the papers. But she facilitates your shadowing opportunities as early as the 2nd semester of your freshman year. 1st semester, you're making the grades, period. We don't want you too involved and get overextended and your grades suffer. You got to have the grades. But the first day of that 2nd semester, you come to her office, fill out some HIPAA privacy forms. She contacts our network of professionals and gets back to you with a name and a contact phone number. And all you got to talk about is what day and time do you show up. It makes it so easy because it's so essential. So see, you're already ahead of a lot of people that simply at their institution, they don't have the personnel to help you. And those students are on their own. So you are already ahead of those 3 other people. Now it's up to you to stay ahead. So you get that professional experience. You've done your service, your grades, your test prep. The last thing in your application is leadership. And so with our student organizations, this is a great place where you can emulate many of our leaders in our organizations. Now this would not be an illustration of that, right? What would you call that individual there? It's not a pleasant word. Is that a boss? We don't emulate that. We emulate this. That's a leader. One of my favorite miniseries, and sir, you may have seen it, Band of Brothers. Major Dick Winters. Wish I could have met him before he passed away. His idea of leadership was very simple, and I think they still use it at West Point. 2 words for an effective leader. Follow me. You do it better, you do it faster, and that's what our officers do. They've given their time today. That's service. They want to talk to you to help you on your way. That's leadership. You see the best qualities in these individuals, find the best qualities in yourself, and you become that leader that you can be. Because you're going to have to record that on your application. Guess what? If your leadership section is empty, what do you not get? An interview. Why? Because 3 other people are doing it all. Now, is that easy? No, it's not easy at all. In fact, it's pretty hard. And we have a modern day philosopher. You've heard of Aristotle and Socrates and Plato. Yeah, they're pretty smart. But we've got a modern day philosopher that has a message of his own.
Quitting. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. Baseball is what gets inside you. It's what lights you up. You can't deny that.
It just got too hard.
It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. I don't apologize for the fact that our curriculum is the hardest curriculum on this college campus. I, in fact, love it. Because when you graduate summa cum laude, and you have an acceptance letter from Dallas Southwestern in your back pocket, when you walk across that stage and you get your diploma, you are going to have achieved what most individuals don't even dare begin. And you are going to have such pride and such confidence in your achievement that you have worked 4 years to achieve, and you will have done it. Because of the hard work, the sacrifices that you made. And there's going to be sacrifices. Because studying is not fun. There's a lot of other things that are a whole lot more fun. But when you're met with those choices, ooh, do I go to that party tonight? Or do I stay and study for that organic chemistry test tomorrow? You got to ask yourself, like Abe Lincoln, is this what I want just right now, or is it what I want the most? Is going to that party tonight really what you want the most? And you may think it is, but it's really not, because being a doctor or a physical therapist, that's what you want the most. So you exercise that self-discipline and you invest in your future success. Like those Navy SEALs. I'm just going to endure this for a week. It is not fun right now, but I'm going to endure it for a week because the rest of my life I can be a Navy SEAL. I'm going to skip this party tonight and make a good grade on that test so I can become a doctor, and I'll be a doctor the rest of my life. Man, it's that investment. And there are a lot of people that can't do that. And they end up working an 8-to-5 job that rots their bones. Or you can be like Fred. Fred's one of my former students. Fred got a degree, but he came back because he decided he wanted to be a doctor. He was married with 2 kids. You think going to college at 18 is hard? But Fred did what it took. Fred made those sacrifices. He worked hard. And it's Dr. Pogue now. But Fred and I, we kind of have a problem right now, and he's not on my good list because he has yet to invite me to fly on his plane. He flies around Texas helping in emergency rooms. And I also saw that he's doing these flights for people that can't afford to travel for medical treatment. He's flying them there in his spare time. Why? Because he loves helping people. And he's a doctor, so he can afford a plane. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. As you think about those choices you're going to be faced with each and every day, you're thinking about those 3 people you're competing for that seat. You ask your parents, and every one of them will agree, if you could have a time machine, Mom, Dad, and go back in time, is there anything you would change in your life? Are there any choices you would make differently? Every single one of us will say yes. But we don't have that time machine. But students, you do. And I want you to think about these two chairs. And when you have a decision to make, I want you to hop in your time machine and project yourself forward and find your 85-year-old self sitting in these rocking chairs and have a conversation with them. Hopefully, you're not going to find your 85-year-old self in a dilapidated shack with no family around because you made the bad choices. Hopefully, you're going to find your 85-year-old self sitting on the back porch of your retirement villa in Boca Raton, Florida with a little drink and the umbrella, you know? Because you did well. You made the right choices. You sacrificed early for the benefit of your career. And in your career, you helped thousands of people have better quality of life. You provided for your family and your spouse, and they have now gone on to be successful because of your example. Your grandchildren are even successful. Because, student, the day of living for yourself is over. Because what you do today doesn't just impact you and your future. It impacts the future of your spouse, your children, and your grandchildren. Like, dude, I just got out of high school. I don't even have a girlfriend. What are you talking about? Trust me, life will be gone like that. We are here to help you with that. If there's anything we can do to help you, please let us know, and welcome to SFA.